Let's bring in the former Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, also a Fox News contributor. Mr. Secretary, great to see you this afternoon. Thanks for joining us. So China's buying up American farmland, tens of thousands of acres of it, as we pointed out, some suspiciously close to sensitive U.S. locations. Back in 2016, a Chinese national was jailed for trying to steal proprietary seeds from a farm in Iowa. What do you believe China is up to here?
Well, John Sanders, great to be with you. I think it's pretty clear. We don't need to doubt our own eyes. Your story about the seeds is absolutely true. They've stolen intellectual property related to agriculture so they can feed their own people, and then, frankly, to dump that product back in the United States. As a national security matter, you're right about this land. They have been very focused on purchasing real estate close to American military facilities. Think of cell phone towers and observation. Think about putting Huawei equipment on those towers, what they can learn, what they can see about the pattern of our military's activities. John, I always think, I sometimes hear from the left media saying, oh my gosh, this isn't about the Chinese Communist Party, this is about Chinese people. Nothing could be further from the truth. An American citizen of Chinese descent who wants to buy land, no problem. This is about a propaganda and information effort by the Chinese Communist Party. It is very clear what they're trying to do. And I would always ask these folks, imagine that an American company tried to buy land near a Chinese military facility in the western part of China. John, how well do you think that transaction would go? It wouldn't go well because it would put the Chinese Communist Party at risk, and they're not going to let that happen. We can't let that happen here either.
Yeah, according to a report in the Washington Post, to your point that you made just a second ago, some Asian American advocacy groups claim that the effort to keep China out of the real estate business, out of the seed business, is going from a national security issue into anti-Asian discrimination. Here's what the Chinese embassy said. Commercial interactions between China and the U.S. benefit both sides. To politicize trade and investment is at odds with market economy principles and undercuts people's confidence in the U.S. market. Such restrictions may also fuel Asian hatred in the U.S. and racial discrimination, thus running counter to American values. I mean, you wouldn't expect the Chinese Communist Party to say much different than that. But is it possible for these efforts to try to keep China, Chinese companies, and some Chinese individuals out of the real estate and agriculture market to veer into anti-Asian discrimination on a broader scale?
Well, I can't imagine it, and I hope it's not true. It shouldn't be true. In the Trump administration, we were very clear. If you listen to me, it's a little awkward sometimes to say Chinese Communist Party. But even the Chinese people living in mainland China, I'm rooting for them. It's the Chinese Communist Party that presents the threat, and that's who we have to protect the United States against. And so, you know, if they're going to try to use their tools, their espionage tools here inside the United States, we have every right, indeed, we have a duty to protect the American people from this threat. It's not about any particular ethnicity. It's about a political party, the Chinese Communist Party, that wants to undermine our way of life here. And we can't let that happen, John. I'm convinced we're not going to. And for someone to say that defending America from a communist party that's trying to change the way our children and grandchildren will live is somehow racist, that's just indecent. And it's not surprising coming from the Chinese embassy and that propaganda machine.
81 bills introduced in 33 states to address this. We'll keep watching that and see which direction it goes in. Mr. Secretary, great to catch up with you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, John.
Appreciate it. Thank
Have
you.
a good
Sandra?
afternoon.
Thanks.